Ba-da-bum, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
All right, week 7 of the NFL. Good division matchup. Start the week. Kansas City at Denver on Thursday night. Actually, this is not a great matchup. Well, Kansas City's going to win a game, but Kansas City's lost 2 at home. Colts and the Texans have gone in there and run the ball, kept time of possession, and keep Mahomes off the field. And Mahomes, I mean, listen, he's playing well, but he's not. He's not. He's taking a small step back from what he did last year. And of course, last year was phenomenal. I mean, he's still a great player, but I don't know if he's banged up or what. But he's not. He's not doing as many Mahomes things as we saw him do last year. Now, again, the last 2 games, Colts and Texans have kept him off the field, but Denver's feisty. They'll be competitive in games, but Kansas City's going to win this one. Start off your week. Sunday early games, and here we go again. We have 8 games at once, even though 4 teams are off. But for some reason, I still got to watch 8 games going on at the same time. You get the Rams in Atlanta. Atlanta's a mess. They're just, they're a mess. I don't know what else to tell you. The Rams did not look good at home against the 49ers last week. I was surprised. I thought that game would be a little more competitive. I know the 49ers are coming on here and look like they might be for real, but I'm surprised the Rams, didn't show up at home last week. But they'll show up in Atlanta this week, where of course they lost the Super Bowl last year. But they'll get more than 3 points, and this time they'll get the win. Miami's at Buffalo. I mean, Miami fought last week, almost got the win against another winless team, and but the Bills are coming off a bye. Everyone's fired up about the Bills. I wouldn't be surprised if this game somehow isn't the major blowout everyone's expecting. I don't know what it is. I just don't trust Buffalo yet. I know they're off to a good start. They got a lot of young talent. I mean, they're going to win a game, but just don't be surprised if maybe that game's close. A little later in the game than you would expect. But Jacksonville, Cincinnati, 2 more teams are going nowhere. Maybe the Bengals can get AJ Green back so I can start him in 2 of my fantasy leagues. Enough's enough. Let's go. Jaguars. Minshew's been nice, but he's not enough to keep that team afloat. As far as from getting into the playoffs and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati won this game. I'm not taking a winless team to win until they win, because and of course they won't be winless anymore. But I don't trust either one of these teams. Nobody cares who wins this game. People in Jacksonville and Cincinnati don't care. I'll take the Jaguars. Minnesota's at Detroit. Detroit with another tough. Well, Detroit could be 5-0. Think about that for a second. I mean, they blew a game in Arizona week 1, ended up with a tie. They fought with Kansas City. Got beat at the end. Then they had a tough game Monday night with Green Bay. A couple of calls here and there, a couple of plays here and there, and the Lions are 5-0. Of course, you could probably say that about every team, but really, if you look at the Lions, I mean, they've actually played well. Every game, but they just haven't gotten some breaks. So, some of it's of their own making. Last week the referees again doing referee stuff. I'm gonna take them to beat Minnesota this week. Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs woke up last week. Got Philly a nice loss, but I think Detroit's they're a little sore from that Green Bay loss. I think they're gonna come out and get the win. Big division game. Both those teams need it, but I'll take Detroit. Oakland's at Green Bay. Don't look now, but Oakland's 3-2 and a half game behind the Chiefs in the AFC West. I was surprised when I saw that myself. They're coming off a bye. Green Bay, big win against Detroit last week. This is going to be a good game. I think the Raiders are going to hang in this game longer than people might think, especially if they get Jacobs going on the ground. But of course, Green Bay is going to win. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers is tough to beat at home, and I don't know if the Raiders got enough ammo to do it. But this could be a game of the week, Oakland and Green Bay. So keep your eyes open. Well, actually, it won't be a game of the week. The next one will be Houston and Indianapolis. Big game, AFC South. Winner of this game, has the early claim on the division. Again, Houston, big win in Kansas City last week. Indianapolis coming off a bye. They've been playing well. This is going to be a really good game. I'll probably spend most of my afternoon watching this one because I got a lot of fantasy people involved in this. It's a tough one. I'm going to take... I want to take Houston here, but I like Indy at home coming off the bye. I'm going to take the Colts. I like what the Colts are doing so far this year. I think they got a little bit more defensively. Their running game's a little more consistent. They can keep Houston off the field. This will be a good game, and I'll take the Colts, but that game's a toss-up. Arizona's at the Giants. Arizona's been a feisty team. They're not going to go anywhere this year, but neither are the Giants. But this will be the undercard for a possible game of the week between two teams that are not going to make the playoffs. But it could be an entertaining game nonetheless. I'll take Arizona here because I really like Kyler Murray. He's really he's been playing well as of late. Starting to get it in gear. And the Giants, they get Saquon back, they get Ingram back. Those are the two guys. But they're sloppy enough. They're sloppier than Arizona. I think Arizona will pull it out. And then the last early game Sunday, you get San Francisco at Washington. 49ers, man. I mean, geez. If their defense is going to play like that, look out for the 49ers. They're in a tough division. You got the Rams and the Seahawks. They're playoff contenders, so they're in a tough spot. But they've beaten the Rams. They're going to beat Washington this week because Washington's a disaster. 49ers are 49ers are looking good. They've got a stable of running backs and a stable of wide receivers that allows that offense to move the ball. They don't have any superstars really, but they got a lot of depth of decent guys at those skill positions where a guy gets hurt, another guy steps up, and as long as Garoppolo can keep it together, 49ers are going to be tough to beat. They look like they might be for real. Washington is not for real, so of course 49ers are going to win a game. Then you get a Sunday late afternoon. You get the Chargers at Tennessee. Two teams that maybe look like they might do something and going nowhere fast. Can't figure these teams out week to week. Tennessee looks good one week. They look disastrous the next week. They're going with Tannehill. They send Mariota to the bench. The Chargers couldn't be a third-string quarterback against Pittsburgh last week. They were at home, but they might as well have been in Pittsburgh because they were like 3 Charger fans and everybody else had the black and gold. Both these teams are a mess. And I don't know. Philip Rivers might be done. I don't know. He's not looked good. He's not looked. Philip Rivers is old, and it's not like he doesn't have his weapons. I know the O-line is having some problems, but he's had Keenan Allen. He's had Eckler, and then Gordon's back. Hunter Henry's back last week. He's had his weapons on offense. Mike Williams. But I don't know. He didn't look right. I don't know what it is. Time might be catching up with him. I don't want to write him off, but I don't know. I'm concerned about this one. I'll take the Titans, but I'm not confident in that pick, and neither should anybody. That game's gonna be a crapshoot. But no, wait a minute. Is Tannehill really gonna win that game? Am I really taking Ryan Tannehill? Yeah, you know what? They'll grind it out. Tannehill will game manage enough. Derrick Henry will run the ball. Chargers haven't been able to run the ball well. I'll stick with Tennessee in there. But who cares? Nobody cares about New Orleans at Chicago. Kamara's banged up. He might not play in this game. He played with an ankle injury last week, and it looks like he's got a knee or something. Something's going on. I don't know. I don't like the injury reports I'm getting so far. I mean, it's only Wednesday, but Chicago's coming off a bye. New Orleans is still working with Bridgewater. I'm gonna take the Bears here in this game because the defense is phenomenal and they should be able to shut down Bridgewater. And listen, as long as Chicago doesn't screw up on offense royally, they're going to be in every game. But I'll take the Bears in this one. Should be a good defensive, low-scoring game. And then Baltimore at Seattle is our last Sunday late afternoon. Seattle, Russell Wilson's a great player. They're going to be competitive in every game. You're never going to look up and go, what the hell happened in Seattle this week? They're going to be in the game. Baltimore, they're a good team. They're going to be competitive in every game. I'm going to take Seattle here, but this will be a good game. I guess this is your late afternoon national game or whatever. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine that, but this will be a good game. Listen, Russell Wilson's ridiculous. Hopefully he can keep putting up a ton of points. I mean, he's already second half Russell Wilson in the first half of the year. Some people are saying he might be MVP candidate. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I couldn't tell you who won NFL MVP in any other year. I mean, obviously Mahomes won it last year, but before that I couldn't tell you who the NFL MVP was because nobody cares. But I'll take Seattle in that game. That'll be a good game. All right, then you get to Sunday night. Here we go again with the Cowboys. Philly at Dallas. Cowboys. I don't know what's going on these last three games. And listen, I've been a big defender of Garrett. When he took over the team was a mess. He had a lot of players that didn't play the game right. Guys whose heads were never in the game. Guys who commit stupid penalties all the time. And it took a couple of years to flush that crew out. And listen, the 3 years in a row where they could have got to the playoffs the last week, and they lost all three, whatever. But then 14, they built back up the offensive line. They had the skill players, and that's when they started to play look like a real team. In 15, Romo gets hurt. That kind of blew up that season. 16, they come back, with Dak and Zeke, superstar rookies. 17 was kind of a lost season because the stupid Zeke suspension hung over the team the whole year. They still went 9-7, and then last year, last year was a very successful season. So Garrett's won the division 3 out of the last 5 years. They've won 2 playoff games in that time span. But they still haven't gotten the NFC Championship game. But getting back to my point, the last 3 weeks, I'm starting to lose it with Garrett. I know a lot of Cowboy fans have already lost with Garrett. They've lost it a long time, but those people are overreactionary. I understand why Garrett's there. Obviously he's one of Jerry's guys, so he's going to get a little more slack. But I think for the most part he's done a good job turning this team from where they listen. People forget what this team was. 10, 11, 12. With that crew that we had to put up with. So they've turned around, they've built the team back up, but now they're in a position. Listen, the Jet game last week, that game turned. It was 7-3. Dallas had 4th and 2 near the goal line. You have to take the field goal there, and it's not so much about trying to look back in hindsight. I mean, I said before the play, I'm like, take the 3 points because you have to be aware of where you are in the game at that point. All right, you're down a couple offensive linemen. Cooper is out. Cobb is out. So you're shorthanded on offense. Take the points when you can get them and grind out the win. And the whole game turned right there because they go for it. They run a stupid play. They don't get it. And then the Jets immediately turn around, throw up a rainbow for a 92-yard touchdown. It's a 10-point swing. Changed the entire game. It changed the entire game. and it's just a stupid decision to go for it there. You kick the field goal, you make it 7-6. You know, kick a couple of field goals and put points on the board. Defense eventually started to shut down the Jets. I mean, it just didn't do a ton on offense that game. You know, the Jets scored 24 points. They had a touchdown drive where Cowboys kept it alive with like 50 penalties. And then they had the rainbow for the touchdown after the fourth down stop. So it's not like the Jets did a ton on offense. I mean, it did enough to win the game. Congratulations. But you're really seeing now where, like, you listen, if the Cowboys don't get to the NFC Championship again this year, you know, now you can look at the body of work with Jason Garrett and go, there's enough here where you can reasonably say, this guy cannot get us over the top. But here's the problem. It's Dallas or Philly in the NFC East. So as shitty as Dallas is playing right now, they still have a 50-50 shot to win the division. Because if Philly doesn't, they will. Giants not winning the division. The Redskins are done. So the Cowboys could fall ass backward into another NFC East title. But now, because of the record, they've hurt themselves in a playoff position where now they've got to play in the wild card round, go on the road in the divisional round where they can't win. And if they follow that script again, you know, now you're looking at, you know, 4 of the last 6 years, they win the division and they can't get to you can't even get to the NFC Championship game, you know, winning the division 4 out of 6 years. You figured once you'd luck into one. So Garrett's got to go if they can't get to the next level, because, you know, either they're going to bottom out this year, or like they said, they're going to back in the NFC East title again. And well, I shouldn't say again. They didn't back into the 3 that they won in the last 5 years. But this year they might end up backing into one, because Philly don't look like they have it together either. And listen, Cowboys are going to beat Philly on Sunday night, because of course, you know, just when it looks as bleakest and okay, this might be it, where now we've got to blow it up. They pull it out the ass, and Garrett saves his job at least for a week. So again, it's going to be a ridiculous game. It's all nonsense as usual. Whoever loses is going to be devastated. Whoever wins is going to think they're the champion, and there's still going to be 9 games left. So Cowboys will win a game, but it's starting to get ridiculous, and I'm starting to lose it with Garrett. I'm starting to get on the wagon with everybody else that maybe it's time for him to go. All right, talk enough about that. And then you got Monday night, New England at the Jets. Listen, good for the Jets. I mean, the Jets are not a bad team. I know they were winless, but they didn't have Donald. You know, Donald, you know, he's a young player that can be exciting. He can make some plays, and obviously they have Le'Veon Bell. And Donald was a difference last week. You know, he made enough plays to put up some points. I mean, they're not going to do it this week, of course, because it's New England, and New England doesn't have any of that shit. New England takes care of business. And they've had the extra day off because they played last Thursday, so they've got a few days extra to come out there, and they'll take care of business, and they'll go to 7-0. So there you go. The Nationals are in the World Series. We're waiting on Houston and the Yankees, and we'll keep an eye on the baseball. But there it is, Week 7 NFL.